Welcome to Digital Drive. Today I'm excited to host my friend Dr. LaTonya Kilpatrick-Liverman. She is the Worldwide Director of Technology for the BioSolutions and Clinical Methods groups at Colgate. LaTonya leads a team that is responsible for developing translation models, identifying health and disease-associated biomarkers, and developing new clinical methods to better measure changes in oral health. LaTonya has over 25 years of experience specifically conducting research in oral biology, all of which have actually been with Colgate. She's the author of several patents, book chapters, and journal articles, and has served on the Editorial Advisory Board of the International Journal of Cosmetic Science at Rutgers University. LaTonya holds a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Hampton University and a PhD in chemistry from Princeton University. She finds joy in leveraging every opportunity to give back and loves sharing her experiences throughout her career. LaTonya will do a lot of that today on the show, so I hope you enjoy this episode of Digital Drive. So LaTonya, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Rebecca?
Life is well. It's so great to see your smiling face. Thanks for joining.
No problem. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, let's dive in today. I've been really excited about this conversation for a while now. You've been just a great partner over the last year, and I've enjoyed getting to know you. So really excited to share with my listeners all that you're doing and just the incredible person that you are. So let's dive in, and I want to start really talking about how digital transformation has been a big part of your career, even though that's not where you started. You're a biologist and a chemist by background, but here you are running digital transformation and learning about technology, and you're really leading digital transformation across the whole Colgate organization, which is very impressive. So talk to us a little bit about, when did you realize that you're a technologist and you were going to be part of digital transformation?
So I'll be brutally honest. So I'm a chemist by training, learning biology, working with an incredible partner that knows digital transformation. So I am learning through my team members, and they are incredible people to work with because they're very aware of what's going on in the field and how to leverage. And a lot of times I feel like a kid hanging on to a coat, because they're so far ahead in advance and I'm playing catch up. But what I'm finding is that it's allowing us to go places and to do things that were so cumbersome years before. And I think it's allowing us to be more predictive and to be more personalized in how we develop our products for our consumers.
Yeah, you've always been a big proponent of team and that helping you accomplish your goal. So I want to talk more about that today as we dive in. But first, let's talk about, again, what digital transformation means within Colgate, because when you think of Colgate, I'm sure a lot of people think of toothpaste and toothbrushes. But as I've gotten to know the company better, you're really a healthcare company. And really what you're trying to do is impact the health of all these individuals who need to take care of their mouth and other different body parts. So tell me about how you really work with a consumer to make sure that you're meeting their healthcare needs first and not just giving them the flavor of toothpaste that's most intriguing.
What we learn from consumers is that consumers actually care a lot about the flavor of their toothpaste, and consumers care a lot about how they look. So if you talk to the consumer and you want to get them excited, you get them excited about experiences. So if they have a nice experience with your product, they're more likely to buy it and they're more likely to talk about it. So we're coming from the technology side, and we like to build things. We like to learn about health. We want to better take care of the consumer's health. And we're learning that we have to do it by exciting them with the experience versus exciting them with, and this is better for your health.
Well, I'm sure there's an element too, back to this experience you're talking about for your customer, where everybody's been brushing their teeth since they're, hopefully 2 or 3 since they had teeth. But if you are adding things to the experience that make it cumbersome, where they've got to spend now 20 minutes with a oral hygiene process before they go to bed, it's gonna actually be more damaging to the health element. So how do you take feedback from your consumer to make sure that there is that oral health piece, but it's also an enjoyable experience?
Let's take kids first, and let's take our new Magic toothbrush, which is our kids connected brush. And
Okay.
our kids connected brush could have been humdrum and just kind of told kids brush here for so long, angle the toothbrush, make sure you get the coverage right, more as a tactical word direction or whatever. But we made it like a game. We made it so that kids have fun, basically learning how to brush their teeth better by trying to catch something or trying to win a prize. For the adults, I thought I was brushing well. I thought I was doing things okay. Now, after using the hum brush, I'm finding that there are areas that I missed that I have to pay more attention to. And really after the first week or two of now relearning how to better brush their teeth, it becomes a habit. What they thought they had been doing well, they're improving on.
Just random thought, because I struggle with it myself. How about the vanity element of it? Is that a motivator, or is it really more about the experience?
People will pay a god-awful amount to have white teeth, when they want to have white teeth, to have white teeth for the moment or for a long-term experience. I am just amazed at how much and how much they will do to get white teeth, right? Mm-hmm. So vanity, plays a huge role.
Can that ever be detrimental to the health element too, or are they able to kind of coexist?
I think the way the products are designed, and this is a question that we ask ourselves because we are in the whitening space, and so we know consumers might use a leave-on product in addition to a everyday kind of toothpaste product. So we make sure as we're designing them that the negative impact from the over-the-counter experience is minimal.
In reality, you're an inventor and you're focused on the R&D. So how do you bridge that gap on a consistent basis? And is that something you learned, or is it something that you start with?
It's something that it's a journey that always changes, I think. Because we're consumers and we're scientists at our forefront. But I think what we're learning, because the consumer experience is so important, we're learning the importance of involving them early on. Okay. So we have these conceptual ideas. We think we know what they might want, what they might enjoy having. But only when you start empathizing with them, having conversations with them, showing them ideas, getting their feedback on what they think about the ideas, how would they improve the ideas, having them touch, feel, an early prototype and experience and share their initial thoughts, having them co-create with you. Those are the new kind of areas that we are learning how to do better, how to do faster, how to do it so that we have quick turnaround and can innovate very quickly after we call it testing and learning an idea. Okay. So the consumer actually is a huge part of the process of building technologies for us.
So back to this idea that at your core, you're an inventor and an R&D person, which has led you to owning all kinds of patents, which I didn't know much about you until I started doing my research and was like, that's really, really cool. So when a patent is part of this brand new creation of, like you mentioned, will this work or not? Is a consumer able to be involved at that level, or is that really a lot of behind the scenes groundwork before you can bring something?
If you have an idea is patentable. But when it comes to defending the idea, the more data you have to support the idea, the more defensible it is. So for the patent attorneys, they want you to have some data, but it doesn't have to be consumer-based data. It can be based on your prototype. It could be in the lab. It's something that you're showing the benefit thereof so that the novelty of the idea is proven. So we usually get enough data in place to support the idea so that it can be submitted and so that it can be protected.
Well, LaTonya, now I want to talk about a part of your day-to-day at work that I know you're extremely passionate about, and that's your team and leading an incredible team of really, really smart people. Can you tell us about really where you start when you're putting together a bunch of really smart people in a room to help them understand where they're driving towards a really big goal and how together they're going to get there?
That everyone has to align on.
Okay.
You know, the benefit of a team is everyone in that team has a different role. And I think to get everyone to align on the end goal of the process and what role they're going to play to get people there, and to have them comfortable disagreeing, challenging one another, putting thoughts on the table that might be kind of bizarre thoughts for people to pick apart. That takes a comfort level. Doesn't happen all at once, but I think for me, I think the value of a diverse team is having people comfortable doing that.
Well, you're in two areas of, invention and clinical trials where, the goal is fail as fast as possible to get to the right answer. So I've called it in the past creating a safe place to fail, but a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. So as a leader, how do you help somebody understand how to get comfortable in that? Or do you hire for that? It can't be just natural.
You as a leader have to be accountable for the failure. So they didn't fail. I as a leader failed. So that's how I do it. It's like I'm accountable for what my team does. So my team is doing a spectacular job. Whatever decisions that were made, they definitely were made. I was a part of that decision, so I'm accountable for it. And I think that helps, saying it's a safe space because you're not going to be the one whacked over the head, right? If any whack, it'll be on me. So you keep doing what you're doing. And I only ask that whatever you're doing, we learn and we can talk about it.
Now, with your industry, there's a lot of the clinical piece you're talking about. You're really at your core a healthcare company. So when it comes to R&D and then going through clinical trials, do you guys get to be heavily involved in that process? And is that as collaborative as it is like with the consumer? Or does it kind of go into a black box and then you get the clinical data back?
Oh, no. So our team is quite heavily involved in the process. Yeah, quite heavily. So we, when we run clinical trials, it's different departments that have to kind of evaluate and approve what we're doing in the clinical trial because it has to be safe. So there's our safety department reviews the protocol, make sure that the products that are being used are safe to be used in the way that we're saying they should be used. It goes to an IRB, so it's an external committee that also reviews the protocol, says that it's safe to be used in the way that we want it to be used. And then we work with professionals to execute the protocol. So at every step, members of our team are like if you're the principal investigator that's driving this clinical trial, you are at every step a part of the journey. We execute some of the trials ourselves.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of the trials we use sponsor organizations, CROs to execute. So we do both. It depends on the size of the trial. It depends on what we're trying to do. But in all aspects, we're intricately involved. The only thing that we, so for those that we use CROs, the only thing that we don't, a lot of the data is anonymized. So we're not close enough to say Joe Blow has this data. It's all anonymized. So unlike some of the consumer studies where we have focus groups, so we know who we're talking to.
Helpful that you guys also get fast feedback back to failing fast. Like, you get to be at the front line of, okay, cool. Somebody tried it, didn't work. Let's go back to the drawing board and try this again.
Because there's also dentist offices, these provider networks that you get kind of real world data from that we're also leveraging at times. So we have different ways of getting our data quick. Now, I will say that running a clinical study in and of itself, there's there's time, there is a time component because you do have to go through these approval steps to get your protocol approved. And you have to go through these recruiting steps to get the right subjects in the pool. But I would say maybe 6 weeks might be the fastest that we've done a clinical trial. Yeah.
Well, then if there's a technology component, I'm sure there's even more
yeah,
elements that you've got to consider.
There's even more. Yeah, there's even more.
So LaTonya, we've already talked a lot about not being afraid to fail, but I want to kind of pivot the idea to how failure actually spurs innovation. I was wondering if you have a good example of where that happened in your career.
Yeah, so several years back, this is how long this project probably was, a 7 to 10 year project, where we started with an idea that we as technical people didn't really think we could achieve. We were like, and so we started looking at the problem in sections, challenging ourselves. If we can get it to work this way, then perhaps the business will be happy enough and they'll just take it and we're done, it's problem solved. And so the challenge was we had an active that we wanted to generate, but the active was very unstable. So if you put the active in water, like most of your saliva is water, and most of your toothpaste is water, it would just degrade. And so we wanted to be able to stabilize this active in a system for 2 years, and then have it work when it gets in your mouth. That was the challenge. And the challenge was it wasn't stable in water, it wasn't stable with low pH, it wasn't stable with some surfactant systems that were in toothpaste. So it was like not stable on a lot of things. So what we tried to show was that if we ever were able to do this, it would work. So we spent a lot of time early on in the lab demonstrating this is functionally a great thing to work on if we can do it. 7 or 8 years past a lot of failures. Some very smart scientists figured out multiple components within the formulation that had to be included to stabilize this active. So a lot of times that's well done and good, but you can overstabilize something. So it doesn't work when you want it to work. So we got it to the point that we had stabilized it in the form that the business wanted. And now all we had to do was show that it worked. So not only did the team show that it worked with the benefit that they were targeting, they had designed it so that it was an even better product. So we talked about the experience part before. Mm-hmm. We had not even thought about odor. We had not even thought about the feel that it left your mouth after using the product. So the developers designed this very complex formulation to not only give you the benefit that they were seeking, but the added benefit of a better sensorial experience in the mouth, an added benefit if you were a smoker, that you after you use the product, that smoking feel and flavor, odor, whatever was eliminated. So I won't say unintentionally, but there were some benefits beyond which the team was seeking that became a part of this product. So it took a while. It took a lot of failures, but at the end of the day, it was a better product than what we were seeking it to be. Yeah. So the product is being sold in Europe, and it's a whitening product that's being sold in Europe. It's the best. It has the best performance because of how we formulated the product, and the consumers are the ones that told us about these added benefits. So we didn't even know about these added benefits, and we gave it to the consumers, and all of them were sharing all these additional benefits that this product provided to us. So
Neat.
I was very happy because internally we have these awards that we give out. And so the final team that was a part that developed this product, they got the award. It's one of the top technical awards that we give out in the company. So that just made my day. I'm like, I am so happy.
That's a huge win. That's great.
It was a huge win. They really well deserved that award. Yeah.
Neat. So your career, mainly since you got out of your studies, has been primarily with Colgate in just different capacities.
Yeah.
So how has that worked? Has it been your intentionality of, I want to do this? Has it been more organic and promotions? How has it really gotten you to where you are focused now?
I have been incredibly lucky. I've been incredibly lucky for, I think it's all organic, very much so organic. Early in career, I had peers that actually were looking out for me, sharing, opportunities in different parts of the company that I was lucky to transition to. Then I had great bosses that saw potential and pushed me to do things that I didn't think I would be able to do. And then I have had great opportunities, like in my current role. I would never have seen myself in a clinical role from whence I came from a very early technology, chemistry background. And just the opportunity to learn a new space and work with, again, incredibly talented people to keep pushing and getting and delivering on things that are challenging, but rewarding when we're successful, I think has been a great ride for me. I don't know another company. I don't know another culture. I can't compare it to anything else. But for me, it's been a great ride because I'm always constantly learning, and I'm always constantly being challenged, and I'm working with great people. And what else can you ask for? And I've been lucky. I have had great bosses. I've just been very lucky throughout my career that I've had even bosses that others will say maybe not, but they have been always, for me, if it comes from the heart, I'm okay with however you deliver your feedback. Because I've had yellers, I've had bosses that are yellers. No. But I know it came from the heart. So yeah, they were yellers, and I would say, you're yelling, and I would just say, you're yelling.
Nice. That's hilarious. But as long as you could hear what they're trying to say, mission accomplished.
But we had that rapport that I could say, you're yelling. And he would look at me and he would say, and he would calm down.
That's great. And not be mad about it. It sounds like respectful.
It's just, we knew where each other were coming from, and it was both from the heart and for the passion of getting whatever we wanted done. Yeah.
That's neat. Well, and look at all this now. I consider you a technologist. You can add that to your list of accomplishments, is that you're actually leading digital transformation within healthcare. That's pretty cool.
And Rebecca, I never saw myself as that. When you brought up the digital transformation, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And very well, I might add. So
well, thank you. And it's been great. It's been great working with you as well. So I'm very thankful. Mm-hmm.
So this all leads me to my last question. I've so enjoyed your time today, but I want to hear from you throughout your whole career, primarily at Colgate. What has been a core principle you've lived by to be successful in business?
Yeah, so you need to always have a passion. Passion is a strong word, but like what you do. You also have to trust and be a good partner with people. But there's also, as a leader, I read these books by Louise Penny, and it's totally fiction book. They're totally not anything that people, will gravitate to read. But there's a main character, and he's a leader of his police organization. And they're the three things that I try to live by. So never be afraid to say, I don't know. say, I'm sorry when you've done something that you probably shouldn't have done, and ask questions. You know, I think that puts people at ease, makes it easier for them to work with you, whether it's a peer, a manager, a direct report. If that's your value, then I think that's what drives the working relationship, and whatever conversations need to be had, and the productivity.
Yeah, that's great. And if you lead the questions, lead, by example, hey, this is how things are done, it will be received, maybe not right away, but it becomes part of the culture, and then you receive it as well.
Yeah. And then my other friend, I never know really what the phrasing that Anne Frank has, but it's easier said, leave the world better than what you found it. So always be a positive influence in the world. And that's the other thing that I try to do. Just have a very optimistic, glass half full kind of, outlook on things, at least, present it that way. So I always, even though sometimes I myself internally might, have be glass half empty, I try to switch, and say, you know what, your energy, if you want positive energy, should always be glass half full. I learned that from a Sunday school lady. She would always tell us in Sunday school class, no one's taking my positive energy. I control my positive energy. Always think glass. And as soon as she said that, I'm like, wow, she's right. You are in control of your energy, and you should be. So that's the other thing that I try to do.
That's great. And
yeah.
I think it shows.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. LaTonya, you're such a joy. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed you sharing.
You're so easy to talk to. So
why, thank you. I'm really excited to share this with my listeners, and a little bit more of a sneak peek about the Project Hum as well too. I'll have that in the YouTube link, and look out for all the exciting things Colgate's doing. They're really making big moves, and they'll help you also take care of your teeth. So thanks for joining everyone today. And again, LaTonya, I so appreciate it. You have a great rest of your week as well.
You too as well, Rebecca. Thank you so much.